host of the Voice of Zion. I hope everybody is doing well today. I truly do. I truly do. If any of y'all been keeping up with the news lately, you knew that we had a young sister who was killed out there in Mexico. We have a young sister, 25 years old, Shanquella Robinson, who was out in Mexico with her friends a few days ago, and she never made it home. She wasn't there even 24 hours. There even 24 hours before she was killed by them. And the Mexican government, the where she was, the authorities there stated that she was killed by alcohol poisoning. There was a second autopsy done on her body, which revealed that she had contusions and she had broken vertebrae in her neck, and that essentially her neck had been broken, which we know alcohol isn't going to be able to do that. We know alcohol doesn't break bones unless it's a inhibitor to someone acting foolishly, and then they go on and break a bone or something falling, but alcohol itself doesn't break bones. It was a truly unfortunate event. And one thing that was revealed to me, if not anything, is why I titled this video. I titled it today. And just so happens that YouTube then introduced a new feature where we could go live and get other folks to join the live stream. So I want to invite y'all to come live with me and discuss this, especially on my side before the sun go over the horizon, because y'all know I like to do my lives outside if I can. It's been real cold, so I'm in my truck. But the point is, an opportunity to discuss this from a spiritual level. At least that's how I'm coming with it. And I want to talk about some things. See, I titled this live stream, we quick to call the white man the devil, but what happened with Shanquella Robinson proves a little different. Every time I hear the white man is the devil, and I'm gonna say some things real quick that might make folks upset, but come with the truth how I see it, how it's been revealed to me. Every time our people say that the white man is the devil, what I've learned is it's a cop out. Okay, putting that on the white man, that evil and that wickedness alone, is giving us justification subconsciously as a people to continue to live in the basement and continue to live in an opposite or antithesis to the Most High. Every time we say the white man is the devil, we removing blame from ourselves and we putting it on somebody else. Okay. Now, what I've learned over the years is that the vessel, the human, it's the avatar, willingly be given over to good, willingly be given over to evil. And what we see in the land right now is indeed a group of individuals, Gentiles, have given their avatars over to wickedness and are being used every day for wickedness. But what we fail to realize is that our people turned our backs to the Most High, and we refuse to accept and adhere to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. We effectively gave ourselves over to wickedness as well. And once we gave ourselves over to wickedness, not only did that justify the Gentiles' wickedness, but it increased the wickedness in the land that we see and gave the devil more vessels, more avatars, more bodies to deal with, potentially deal with in its regime to cover the earth in evil. Okay? I hope y'all heard what I just said. Because until we recognize that we have been truly evil as a people as well, until we recognize that that same wickedness we accuse the white man of having resides in many of us, we will never heal and we will never be the people who we were originally called to be. The white man didn't kill that young lady in Mexico. Shanquella Robinson was not killed by no white man. No, if you've seen the video floating around on the internet right now, it's very distasteful. Very distasteful because the video was actually filmed by one of her so-called friends that was present while she was getting abused and beat like that. The video goes on to showcase one of her other so-called friends, another young lady, beating Shanquella, beating her. Not only beating her, but embarrassing her, embarrassing her by beating on her while she wasn't clothed. No different than what we would have saw the white man do. We were enslaved and in shackles and chains, being stripped of our clothing, and then being beat in front of the masses, being beat in front of the city, being beat in front of the town to embarrass us, belittle us, treat us no different than animals. Now we're seeing our own people do these horrible acts to each other. Okay? We're seeing our own people do these horrible acts to each other. The folks that she was with, I believe she was with 5 or 6 people, went down to Mexico for a trip. Like I said, she wasn't even there for 24 hours before she was killed. Now, the video shows that she's getting beat in a room. Okay? And the energy is so important to peep and recognize in this because the room itself looks like a beautiful place to go on vacation. You know that this time of the year in Mexico, anybody from California could tell you this. Anybody that's been to Mexico could tell you this time of the year in Mexico it gets really warm. It gets warmer at this time of the year. It's not cold. That's why a lot of people go down to Mexico during our winter months. A lot of people go down to Mexico for those 3 months, 4 months, and they stay down there in Mexico until it heats back up here. She wanted to go down on a vacation. She was very successful. Um, she had a lot of success with her braiding, with her ability to do hair. She was a very outgoing young lady, very beautiful young lady from North Carolina. And she went down to Mexico, essentially, wanted to assume to relax and enjoy the fruits of her labor. The other individuals presented themselves as friends to her, but none of them were friends. When she was getting beat on the video, the so-called friends were in the background, laughing and watching this happen. Very distasteful. So-called friends were watching her being abused and being beat upon. Her head was being beat upon. Her body was being beat upon. She was getting slung around by another young lady that she had something to prove. She had a high amount of evil within her, allowed her to be so violent to this young lady who didn't even fight back. Shanquella Robinson did not fight back, not one time. And she was getting literally manhandled by a woman, a young lady, who had no regard. I think a friend would have a certain off switch. There was a disagreement that wasn't caught on the film, and that disagreement was something so strong that it caused her to want to be violent toward her friend Shanquella. Friend even got to blows like that. As a friend, she should have at least been given the opportunity to dress herself. But that's not what this so-called friend wanted to do. This so-called friend had animosity toward Shanquella before they even got to Mexico. These people who filmed her had animosity toward her before the trip even began. And we all know when it goes to traveling like that in big groups, that it's often like that because somebody, the majority of the group, is not able to afford the trip outright. They need to piece up. They need to piece up and they need to basically go in a big group because they all can't afford to go in the first place. So they need to be able to afford to go by inviting others along the trip with them. Okay? That's the only way they're able to afford it. And in this situation, I don't see it being any different. I really don't. I don't see it being any different. And so we have a very, very unfortunate situation. We have a very, very unfortunate situation here. But I wanted to talk about something real quick that a lot of us might not understand, a lot of us might not understand, and a lot of us might not have thought about before. I'm going to get into the book of Second Esdras first. Second Esdras chapter 4, verse 23 says, For I did not wish to inquire about the ways of above, about those things that we daily experience. Israel has been given over to the Gentiles in disgrace, while the people whom you loved has been given over to godless tribes. The law of our ancestors has been brought to destruction, and the written covenants no longer exist. We pass from the world like locusts, and our life is like a mist, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. But what will he do for his name that is invoked over us? About these things that I have asked. Second Ezra chapter 4, verses 23 through 25. You see, we live in a world right now that is overrun with evil. Evil should have been combated on a major front. Evil existed in the world before our people received the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. Evil was here before the children of Israel even existed. But the thing about it is, the children of Israel were chosen as a set apart and holy people to represent the light, to represent the love, to represent goodness and righteousness in this world in order to combat evil, in order to stand against evil, in order to be the standard at which goodness was to spread throughout the world. And when our people began to crave after those of the godless tribes of people on the earth, when our people begin to crave after the actions of the Gentile nations in the world who did not receive the law, statutes, and commands, evil then increased in the world. And when evil increased in the world, that gave the devil a greater platform and a greater canvas it used in order to spread its wickedness across the rest of the world. Okay? I need y'all to pay attention. But one thing that really got me as I've been studying over the years is something in the book of Isaiah that really stuck out to me about the devil. Okay? In the book of Isaiah, we read that the devil wants to be like the Most High, but the devil seeks to establish his throne above the heavens as the Most High. And I got to thinking about this. When we listen and we learn about the narrative of Yahshua being taken up to the mountain, right? And the devil enticing Yahshua and tempting Yahshua, right? And they're up there on the mountaintop, and the devil is showing through supernatural power Yahshua all of the kingdoms of the earth, and enticing Yahshua and telling Yahshua that, hey, if you do this and you bow down to me, all of these will be yours. I will give the power over to you. You can reign over the earth right now. And Yahshua, in so many words, said, how are you going to give me something that I created? How are you going to give me something that I'm already the king over? How are you going to give me something that already belongs to me? Get out of my face, devil. Get out of my face, devil. And the devil had to flee from Yahshua, right? And then the angels of the Most High came and comforted Yahshua in that moment once the devil fled. Hydra Shield Basement Services. Hey, how you doing? How you doing today? Thank you for joining us today. I hope all is well on the home front. I got something to say. I hope that y'all have an ear to hear this. What is it about the devil that's so deceitful? What is it about the devil that's so crazy? Because we believed a lie these last 50 or 60 so years that the white man is the devil. Okay? We believe this lie. I'm about to show you something. Because in truth, the devil is connecting to and rocking with anybody on this earth who gives over to the devil's nasty energy, regardless of complexion, regardless of ethnic background, regardless of who the individual is, the devil is seeking whom it may devour in its final and last day. Okay? Now, we know through the different blood oaths, the different sacrifices that have been given and to the devil all over the world right now in this modern day, we know group of people who are definitely in league with the devil. The devil has been given the world. The devil's kingdom is here now. The world has been given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? Hey, Pat. Thank you again. Thank you again. Praise to the Most High. Now, I have to really say this. Because the world has been given into the hands of wicked, the reason that our people say the white man is the devil is because white man is the one with the Asian man, even some of these black folks in the countries of Africa are in league with the white man and the Asian man who are ruling this world. But the tippy top of the world's governments are ruled over by white men, right? Okay. But this is where it gets funky. Because if the so-called white man is at the top of the pyramid and ruling the world, then that means, according to the scriptures, if the world has been given into the hand of the wicked and the devil is ruling the world, and there are those who are ruling the world with the devil, and those who are ruling the world with the devil appear to be white men, that is where that statement comes from. We mustn't stop at that statement. Okay? We mustn't stop at that statement because there is actually a hierarchy of evil. But I'm about to say something that you might not have ever heard before. We know, according to the scriptures, that the Most High presents himself as a black man. Okay? How do we know this? We go to the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. Okay? Verse 9 of Daniel chapter 7 tells us something very peculiar about the Most High's image and how the Most High looks. Now, I want y'all to see something. Before I say this, I want you to look. As I've been studying and I've been getting wisdom, my hair on my face, my beard has been turning white. Okay? My beard has literally been turning white. Look at the locks. Now, these are locks. Look at this. The hair on my head, the locks on my head, they haven't been turning white. But look at my beard. These are locks, y'all. Look, this is my beard. These are locks. Now, I don't call them dreadlocks because they're not dreadful to me. These are locks. And I want you to look carefully. The hairs on my lock is turning white as snow. Okay? And my locks are like the pure wool. Okay? I want you to look at this. See what the pure wool on a man looks like and what it looks like when that pure wool turns white as snow. Okay? I'm using myself as an example. I really need y'all to pay attention to this. The Most High is presented to us the Ancient of Days, sign of wisdom. But I want you to pay attention to the texture. The texture of my hair is as wool. You see this? You see this? You see this? This is like sheep's wool. I need you to see. Now it just so happens that when my hair used to be deep brown color that looks black, now it is turning white. Yes, it is a sign of wisdom, and I'm happy you said that. Look at what the Most High says about himself in the book of Daniel. See what Daniel is saying. I'm not calling Daniel the Most High, but the words of the Most High through men in order to inspire them to write the Most High. Now look, here we go. Ancient of Days. I beheld till the thrones were cast down. The Ancient of Days did sit, his garment white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. The Ancient of Days, this is a description of the Ancient of Days, another reference to the Messiah. Outstanding about this passage is that it reveals the African attributes of the Messiah. He is described as wearing a garment as white as snow, and the hair of his head is like the pure wool. pearl to his hair being like pure wool is of particular interest and importance. The scripture also ties to the descriptive verses of the Messiah as they are written in Revelation chapter 1, verse 13 through 15. And in the midst of the seven stands one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girded about the breast with a golden girdle, and his hair were like wool, as white as snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire, his feet like fine bronze, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice like the sound of many waters. Here it is crystal clear that the physical characteristics of the Messiah are described as African. This is very important. Why is this important? Because we believed a lie about the devil. The white man is the devil. Okay? When in actuality, the scriptures are going to tell us something else. What? Yes. Watch this. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, remember the characteristics of the Most High. This is very important. Remember, the Most High has the hair of wool, and it is white like the snow. He has garments of white, bronze, and not only bronze. We know bronze is a brown color. Not only bronze though, bronze is if it burns in the furnace, which means it is a deeper brown. It's not only brown, but it's a deep, deep brown, and it burns in the furnace. Now, what does the word say about the devil? We might not pay attention to correlate with the description of the Most High. Hold on, here we go. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13. Let's start at verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weak the nations? Lucifer used to be in heaven, kicked out of heaven, down to the ground, down to the earth, and was given rulership over the earth. This is why the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Now watch this. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. Lucifer fell, made this pact with himself that he would ascend back into heaven, at any rate, no matter what it took. No matter what it took. And that's not all he said. He said, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. We know that the Most High sits in the sides of the north. We also know that the Most High sits above the stars in the heaven of heavens. And that's what Lucifer seeks to return to. But Lucifer said that he will not only return or seek to return and ascend up into the heavens, but also establish his throne with the Most High. Now check this out. In verse 14, Lucifer says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Now, most people will take that verse and they think that Lucifer is just talking about title. Lucifer is just talking about power. But Lucifer said he will be like the Most High. He's talking about in every way. So if the Most High presented himself as being woolly hair, as being all wise, as being bronze colored, brown as it burnt in the furnace, and the Most High is exhibiting physical attributes and characteristics of that of a black man, would be considered a black man on this earth today, don't you realize that the devil is also seeking to be a man like the Most High? The devil itself will seek to have woolly hair like the Most High. The devil itself will seek to have a complexion as that of the Most High, physical attributes. Therefore, because the devil wants to be like the Most High in all ways, that also means that the devil will present himself as a black man as well. Snap, snap. What did I just say? I'm saying what the scriptures say. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. The devil called the father of lies. The devil called the father of lies. So the lie is that the white man is the devil. Wouldn't that be the perfect to make to a bunch of people who have willingly turned their backs on the Most High? Wouldn't that be the perfect statement to make to the world in order to cause division amongst the world's people? Wouldn't that be the perfect statement to make that a certain group of people, meaning the Israelite people, could cleave onto and believe in order to justify our people's wickedness and nasty actions that we commit against one another and in the world every day? Failing to realize that that devilish demonic energy has attached itself to us, wouldn't that be the perfect excuse the devil can use in order to keep us blind to our own actions while focusing on the so-called white man? This is the part where people ain't gonna like it. My people, okay? Wouldn't it be so ironic and so convenient, convenient to believe that lie? Therefore, we don't have to look into ourselves. Therefore, we don't have to identify that devilish, nasty, demonic energy in us. I think it is. I think it's very convenient. Because what we just saw with Shanquella Robinson in Mexico proved to us that the white man had nothing to do with that. The white man was not in that room. The white man was nowhere around. The white man did not send no gamma ultraviolet turn based ultra waves at these people and cause them to be jumbled in their mind and brainwashed through some invisible gamma ray. That was not the white man at all. That was the devilish demonic energy that was housed within people who we would consider so-called black people today, who carried that nasty demonic energy into Mexico on their vacation and killed that young lady in cold blood. You got to hear me. Because now is the time for the great reckoning. Now is the time where you must choose what side you are on. Now is the time, whether you are so-called black, so-called white, so-called blue, purple, or green. Now is the time where you must decide if you are fighting for the side of righteousness or you are fighting for the side of wickedness. Wickedness is being pioneered and being headlined and being guided and led by Satan, the devil itself. Righteousness is being headlined, pioneered, and guided by Hamashiach, Yahshua Hamashiach. It's very important that we recognize the difference. Very important. Because the devil said he wants to be like the Most High in every way. He wants to have a throne like the Most High. He wants to be worshipped like the Most High. He wants to ascend above the heavens like the Most High, above the stars of the heavens like the Most High. He wants to have the woolly hair like the Most High. He wants to have the complexion of the Most High. He wants to look like the Most High. You know that the devil is the father of lies. So if the devil can present himself as the Most High to the world will believe it. What the Antichrist is all about. This is what this end day is all about. Who will be deceived in this last day? Who will be tricked out of position in this last day to believe the lie? Okay? This is very important, y'all. Very important. And I also thought it interesting that the devil, that Lucifer, when Lucifer was cast out of heaven, Lucifer used to move around heaven with all sorts of pomp and circumstance, meaning all sorts of musical, celebrational music around him. The devil was decked in jewels and fine gold. Okay? We read about that in the book of Ezekiel. The devil was, before Lucifer became the devil, Lucifer was honored and celebrated as being the chief musician in heaven. And don't you find it very strange and odd that right now on the earth, the leading genre, the leading music genre on earth is rap. And rap is headlined by all of the so-called black men and women who created it. What was Kanye talking about when he referenced the Jewish community, the so-called Jewish community, as being the heads of this industry from an executive level? He mentioned that because they are the ones who are signing the checks. They are the ones who are dangling the carrot over Israelite people and tricking Israelite people, leveraging, I should say, Israelite individuals who does not want to cleave unto the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, and seeks to be a spawn, him or herself, who seeks to cleave on to wickedness and evil themselves, and all the so-called Jewish community is doing is taking advantage of that. All the so-called Jewish community is doing is not willing to correct the so-called black person who is joining forces with them in evil. Jewish, so-called Jewish community could say, hey, man, you know you shouldn't be doing this. You know that you are truly an Israelite. And you're supposed to be cleaving to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. You're not supposed to be doing evil and wickedness. You're not supposed to be singing songs of wickedness and evil. You should be singing psalms and songs of righteousness and songs filled with wisdom for goodness sake and moving your people closer to the Most High. Instead, the Jewish, so-called Jewish community is leveraging that wickedness and evil that is innately in our people. And all they're guilty of is signing the checks in order to continue to inspire our people to wickedness. And our people who participate in that regime are willingly giving themselves over to wickedness and evil. But what do you notice? Remember how I said that the devil wants to be like the Most High? Well, the devil has tricked our people into not seeing the image of the Most High in ourselves. When I look at myself, I see the image of the Most High. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Ephesians chapter 5 tells us to imitate Elohim, to imitate the Most High in all of our ways. Let's get it real quick. Ephesians chapter 5. But see, we have decided to imitate the devil. I want to tell you something. It's going to be real heavy. The devil imitated the Most High, right? In doing so, the devil has a bunch of little minions that also want to imitate him. The devil, when Lucifer was in heaven, he had sorts, all sorts, all sorts of gold. Okay? The devil had all sorts of jewelry. The devil had all sorts of bling. Okay? And isn't it strange that today, all of our music artists, you can't even be considered a rapper if you don't have the ice, if you don't have the grill, if you don't have the gold, if you don't have the ring, if you're not sparkling, you cannot even be considered a rapper today. Isn't that very interesting? Is that like the image of the Most High, wearing all those jewels and diamonds? Or is that like the image of Lucifer before he was kicked out of heaven? Oh, that's like the image of Lucifer before he was kicked out of heaven, y'all. Okay? This is very important to recognize. And now our people are masquerading as the devil, not seeking to be like the Most High any longer. And I'm talking about those who are placed before us. I'm not talking about those who are righteously walking forward, doing what we have been commanded to do, children of the Most High here in this place today. Okay? I'm not talking about that. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I'm looking for that verse in Ephesians because I want to show you that it's perfectly fine to imitate our Father in heaven. That's actually what we are called to do. What we are called to do. And I have to hold my phone right now, y'all. So give me a moment. I didn't know that this live stream it wouldn't allow me to set my phone. Wouldn't allow me to set my phone on the side. All right. Give me 1 second. Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1. Become then imitators of Elohim as beloved children and walk in love as Hamashiach also has loved us and gave himself for us, a gift and an offering to Elohim for a sweet smelling fragrance. Okay? In all uncleanness or greed of gain, let it not even be named among you as is proper among the set apart ones. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor coarse jesting, which are not fitting, but rather thanksgiving. one, nor one greedy of gain, who is an idolater, any inheritance in the reign of a Mashiach and Elohim. No one deceive you with empty words, for because of these, the wrath of Elohim comes upon the sons of disobedience. Ephesians chapter 1, Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1. On verse 1 again. Because then imitators of Elohim as beloved children. The devil has children here, and the Most High has children here. We are called to become imitators of our Father in heaven. Even the devil wants to be an imitator of the Most High, but the devil ain't going to tell you that. The devil isn't going to tell you that. The devil is going to present itself as the Most High in order to deceive us. And any of us who do not know the truth will follow after the devil. Now, this is where complexion does not matter at all. There are those on earth who have literally made pacts with the devil, who have heard the devil's voice, who have with the devil, who have sacrificed to the devil. People rule the world with the devil, alongside the devil. And they are the proof that this world has been given into the hands of the wicked. Then there are those who are hired by the devil, not realizing that they are in league with the devil, and they give all of their energy over to the devil, unbeknownst, thinking that they are doing something for the Most High, or they know outright that they are doing wickedness and evil, but they have believed the lie that what they are doing is okay, and that they need to get gain in this world, and they have been overtaken by the spirit of greed, by the spirit of idolatry, by the spirit of wickedness and nastiness. Okay? I hope y'all are hearing me. And that individual does that. There is no complexion that is exclusive to that. If an individual is on the earth and they seek to be in league with the devil, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of complexion, they can do that. That's part of the free will that they have been given. Very unfortunate, but they can do that. Okay? They can do that. Take this off the charge real quick so I can have my hands. But become then imitators of Elohim as beloved children. We were called to be imitators of the Most High as beloved children. That means that we are the children of the Most High. The same way you see your mama, the same way you see your papa, and you want to imitate them. When you see them every day as a little child, you want to imitate your parents. It's the same way we are supposed to imitate the Most High, especially those of His calling. But many of us have forsaken the ways and the blueprint that was established by the Most High. Many of us have turned our backs to the Most High. And there's another being out here who is, as we read, walking to and fro through the earth, roaring as a lion, seeking whom he may devour. And that is the devil. And once we give ourselves over to the devil will destroy us. The devil will present and all sorts of worldly materials to us, material gain and possession to us, and have us thinking one thing. We should be thinking another. So what we saw in Mexico on that horrible video in regards to Shanquella Robinson, what we saw was a extreme, extreme example of the truth of the matter. What we saw were melanated people. What we saw were so-called black people. What we saw were Israelite people who have given themselves totally over to devil. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And in the case of our people wanting to cleave unto the ways of the devil, we must go back to our ancestors and ancestresses. And we must realize that the world has increased in wickedness because of us. Until we can accept that, until we can really recognize from an introspective perspective that it is because of us that the world has increased from the wickedness that it already had at the beginning, we're not going to heal and we're not going to be made better. And as a matter of fact, we're going to push the world even further into wickedness, further into spiritual darkness. Because now our people have joined in league with the devil. As our people have been the ones who have represented for the devil in modern times. And I'm talking about through our energy. I'm talking about through us using our gifts and our talents to build the devil's kingdom up further and to lead more of our people into damnation through our abilities to influence, our abilities to use those very gifts, not in honor of the Most High who gave them, but now to the devil build up its kingdom here. Now people feel justified pointing the finger elsewhere. Now our people feel like it's okay to say so and so is the devil when the devilish energy is surging through the majority of our very beings. And it's very sad. Looking at that video of Shanquella Robinson and imagining what her parents are going through right now. The fact that those people who she was with, there's no way one of my friends could have passed away. I'll say this. Before my life was changed, me and my partners, we was out there in the street tough. And I know they like to say it's no honor amongst thieves. I know they like to say that your partners, your closest homies will backdoor you and this and that. But I must say, me and my partners, we was never on that. We was never on that. We saw each other as brothers. A lot of us was cousins, family to begin with. And I know today even your own family will set you up. I know this. When it came to me and my partners, none of that. And ain't no way we would have went on a trip and returned home together. We knew when we left together, we were supposed to come home together. If one of us didn't make it home, which that never happened, but if one of us didn't make it home, we was staying the whole time. We was gonna stay the whole time until that body or whatever needed to happen was brought back safely. We all came back together, even if one of us came back in a casket. But them so-called friends of Shanquella Robinson, they wasn't even there for a whole day. They killed that girl and they got on the next flight. The next flight, they got on the next train smoking back to the States and left her body in Mexico. And it cost somewhere around $6,000 for that woman's family to have to pay to bring her back to the States. Okay? Nobody was there. Nobody stayed. Nobody remained there in Mexico to make sure that her body wasn't mistreated. Nobody. She was left there. There was another young brother who got on the video. In his video, tried to do what we call beat the authorities to the punch. He tried to present himself as somebody who got there late, who didn't witness the fight, didn't witness her being essentially killed on camera. And he said all sorts of things that didn't make sense or add up. He said all sorts of things that he thought would clear himself from being one of the guilty members in the party. But there were the things he didn't say, and the things that he said that showed that gave me a red flag moment, that made my antennas rise up on my head. Things like, man, I got down there and I didn't even get to do nothing. I didn't get to drink. I didn't get to smoke. I didn't get to do no jet skis. We were supposed to do all this. He was focused more on how magnificent the villa that they was living in, supposed to stay in was, versus immediately addressing the loss of his so-called friend. You see the videos for yourself. They floating out there. The point is, I want you to pay attention to his energy. He couldn't hardly even look at the camera. He was jittery. He knew something. He had to catch himself multiple times from saying what it was he really knew. Okay? And if I was in that position, I haven't been in that position, thank the Most High. But I could just imagine that those who are wiser in that position wouldn't even went on live to begin with. Unfortunate to say. He allowed himself to show the incriminating spirit on him. He incriminated himself. the point of the matter is, everybody there at that party, so-called black person, all the people there filled up with the spirit of deceit, deception, filled with a devilish spirit, and they wasn't white. That's my point. That's my point. And so what we have to do still, you know the theme of this channel. You know that I always have to bring it back home to the truth of our people. Our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Our people turned our backs on the Most High. It was our people who refused to adhere to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. And in refusing to adhere to the law, statutes of the Most High, we sunk into wickedness. And when we sunk into wickedness, that's when the devil struck. That is when the devil finally took reign over the world, and the world was given into the hands of the wicked. That is when the devil felt as though it had a one up on the Most High. Can you imagine how the devil feels laughing at us and manipulating people of the world, and why it would be easy for all people, not just Gentile people, to turn their backs and to never want to listen to the Most High's law, statutes, and commands, let alone the Israelites? Do you see how easy it is? Can you imagine how bad the Most High must feel? It's like a child. It reminds me of 50 Cent and his son, his eldest son, Marquise. Having a son who you would do anything for, having a son who you love with all of your heart at one time, and then to have your son raised up into a man who hates you, turn his back on you, who has gotten with enemies, who has become buddy buddy with your enemies, sworn foes. Can you imagine being a parent in that position? Can you imagine being a parent who has a son that you would do anything for, and that son grows up to become your enemy, and that son now joins forces with your enemy, showing that he has no regard for you at all? That's what our people did to the Most High. Our people left all of the blessed ways that the Most High established in us, all of the gifts, all of the kindness, all of the abundance, all of the increase. And we said, nah, we'd rather be like everybody else, and we'd rather join the enemies of the Most High. Nah, we'd rather be like everybody else, and we'd rather join the enemy of the Most High and cleave onto the devil instead of cleaving onto the Most High. Can you imagine how sad that made the Most High? Now do you see why we had to be pushed into the places of our captivity as punishment for what we did? And now we live in this modern time. Now we live in this modern time where our people are so lost in the sauce and so turned around that we don't even recognize our own problem. And we're still quick to blame it on everybody else. But this is the perfect example. This is the perfect example of what it looks like when you point the finger at everybody else. Think of Absalom. Very good, Mama Carolyn. Absalom. Absalom traded on his father. And how did they catch him? They caught him running through the bushes, in the thickets, and his woolly hair was caught in them thickets, and he was hung by his locks and couldn't get out. And that's when David's swordsman sliced and diced him up. You don't think that David was sad about that? You don't think that David was sad about that? Think that that hurt his heart to have to know that his eldest son traded on him? It hurt his heart, but he had to go. And just like he had to go, it's going to be 2/3 of our people that have to go. We are nearing closer and closer. We are at the end of the time of the end. Not only are we in the end times, we are in the end of the end times. Okay? And so, what we're seeing right now is very disastrous. We're seeing something that's very, very hurtful. We're seeing something that's very sad. But the matter is, until we turn back to the Most High, we're always going to be turning toward the devil. And it does none of us good to be blaming the so-called white man for being the devil when our people ourselves are in league with the devil. Okay? The devil has deceived the whole world. And now it's to the point, black, white, purple, green, blue, red, yellow. You as an individual cleave unto the devil, you are going to do devilish things. And the devil is going to use you, abuse you, trick you, and deceive you for as long as it can until the return of the King of Kings. We are in a position right now where, as Hebrew Israelite people, who are the natural branches, who are the roots, we are now being awakened. Yes, that's true. Gentile nations are given the opportunity to be grafted in with us, to be adopted into the fold. Okay? Just like before, when we were taken out of Egypt, Kemet, and there was a great multitude that came with us, not just Israelite people, great multitude who saw the power of the Most High and who cleaved unto the house of Israel. So much so will be in this second greater Exodus. Okay? There will be Gentiles who cleave unto us, who seek the refuge of the Most High as well. They will be granted that. And now it's time to remove the hatred. Now it's time to remove. Now it's time to remove the hatred. Now it's time to return to the love of the Most High. And what is the love of the Most High? It's not that romanticism. It's not that lovey-dovey stuff. It's not lovey-dovey this and lovey-dovey that. The love of the Most High is to return to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High and to do those, to adhere to the laws, statutes, and commands of the Most High, for by doing so, we show our love for the Most High. Look, y'all, it's your brother True Jew tapping in with y'all the only way I know how, raw, real, and uncut. May we send our deepest condolences and all of our love that we can conjure up to the family of Shanquella Robinson. Her mother is distraught. Her father is distraught. Her family is totally distraught right now. There was nothing but good words spoken about that young lady, 25 years old. She was taken out by her own so-called friends. And this is why one thing I'm gonna say in this time before I sign out today, you really need to watch who you keep company with. You really need to watch who you put yourself around. Just because somebody has a lot of followers on Instagram, just because somebody likes the same music artist as you, that does not mean that y'all are gonna be friends. Okay? You have to try people's spirits today. You have to really do your due diligence about an individual and make sure that they are who they say they are. You have to allow the fruits of their actions to manifest, to sprout and grow. You have to be able to see who you actually dealing with. It's not the time to be traveling all over the place with such and such and such and such just because they look cool, just because they popular, just because they got a certain material gain. That's not enough today. Maybe it's never been enough. You really have to try the spirit. You have to make sure that this person has a history of righteousness, that this person has a history of being a good person, and then consider going with them on a trip, traveling with them. But if this person has not an ounce of goodness in them, and it does not have a history of being pious toward the Most High, cleaving unto the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, I would think twice before I join a league with them. I would think twice before I go on a vacay with them. I would think twice before I leave where I'm at to go with them someplace far away where the same rules and the same regulations appear not to be prevalent in that place. You know, a lot of people travel, they go places like Las Vegas and Mexico, Florida, and they become inhibitionless. They feel as though they don't have to do anything. They feel like they can just let their hair down and you only live once, and they become total fools. And this is also what we saw. This is also what we saw. We don't know if there was any drugs. We don't. Well, we know there was alcohol. We don't know if there was any drugs, anything else never caused those individuals to lose themselves like that. But maybe they was already lost, y'all. That's my point. But to sit up here and to continue to blame others on the basement is asinine. It is totally asinine, and I'm asking that it stops. Talking directly to Hebrew Israelite people. I'm asking that we really look at ourselves more deeply. We really pay attention to what's going on. The devil ain't letting up. The devil is going harder. We are in the end of the end times. We're going to see more of this nastiness. We're going to see more of the nasty energy spreading throughout the world. We have to wake up. Look, it's your brother True G tapping in with you the only way I know how. Raw, real, and uncut. You know I love you to life always. I ask you to stay vigilant, to stay blessed, stay vigilant. Most High Mama Papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, gone.